so this is basically gonna be a guide on Anji in Guilty Gear Strive. And let me preface before I even get into the guide, it's week 2 of the game, on PC at least, and it's week 3 on PS4, PS5. So obviously, you know, things can change. Some tech can come out literally tomorrow, and Anji could either be way better or way worse, but that's probably not likely because he's already pretty bad as is. So just to get it off, right at the start of the video, I don't think Anji's very good in this game. I think the idea of him is good if you're like maybe scared, but when you see what other characters can do in this game, he's not very scary. But none of that really matters. Let's actually get into him as a character and what you can do and how to improve as him. Alright, so let's start with Anji's normals. I'm not going to get into frame data because, to be honest, the game is too early for frame data right now. And 2, like, you don't really need it. Like, frame data is a good reference, but if you start being controlled by frame data, you'll never do anything with any character. 5P or neutral punch, done like so, it looks like this, is one of Anji's fastest moves. And unfortunately, it won't hit crouchers, but it is a good get off me tool if you know somebody just gonna press a lot of buttons. 2P, crouching P, is also a good tool like this. I believe it's around the same speed as 5P, I'm not too sure exactly, but you know, good get off me tool. It's a good way to steal back your turn if anybody's mashing too much on you. And both of these moves will always go into 6/8s, which is always good because it means fusion pressure. But little spoiler ahead. 5K is a little underwhelming. It is his farthest light normal. So from this range, if you really don't think you can hit somebody, you can always 5K into Fujin, just to make sure if you really want to stick to somebody. So that's a good tool to use for that. And 2K is straight up one of his best normals in the game. The only problem is it's a bit slow, so you can't use it to mash, but this is what you use to make people scared of your butterfly mixes. 2K, very good move. Far S is going to be your best neutral poke to start your Fujin pressure. However, it's kind of a bad poke because it's really slow. It doesn't really have any frame advantage, so if they want to jump back or air backdash your Fujin pressure afterwards, they can. And it'll just straight up lose to other better normals in the game. Like, good luck trying to use this normal against a Ram, a Mei, a Soul, a Axel, or like any character in the game. So, yeah. But it is your best way to start Fujin pressure. Also, Close Slash is probably what you're going to use for knockdown meaties because it is hella active. It is really good. A lot of times with the cast in this game, and I'm speaking off of me primarily playing Anji and like playing a little bit of Kai, is that you actually have to time your meaties pretty well because Wake Up Grab is always so oppressive. So you can't just really run up and do whatever, but Anji is one of the few characters where you can because his Close Slash is just active. Like, I'll set the dummy to do Wake Up Grab right now. I had to do Wake Up Grab for like there's a test yesterday because I wanted to see if I could beat, but I did that. But he's on Wake Up Grab. I'll show you a little thing. You see how early I pressed that? I pressed Wake Up Grab hella early. I'm not having grab. I pressed that meaty hella early, and it beats. And because there's no like different meaty timings, because you can't really change your wake up besides making it slightly faster, and off of hard knockdowns you can't change it at all. It's really good. Very good normal. That also being said, Far Slash is not. If you try and meaty with Far Slash, you better wait a little bit because, man, I've seen it just go through people sometimes. But yeah, his jumping normals, Jump P, I mean, it's just a really fast normal. Maybe you're going to throw it out a lot against the Amelia matchup just to stop her from getting on you. Jump K is also a pretty good normal that's going to air the air a lot, so you're going to want to do that if you can against matchups where you're dealing with somebody in the air and it's really hard for you to anti-him consistently. Jump S hits at an interesting angle. Once again, pretty good to air the air with. It's very good if you air back dash with it. It just kind of comes out, so that's a pretty good normal. And Jump 8 is, you know, your normal approach. Unfortunately, if you jump 8 though too close, like every normal in the game, you can get grabbed out of it if the opponent just stays on the ground and there's not enough stun. And if you try and do like a more offensive move. But Jump D, like in past Guilty Gears, changes his jump arc significantly. So if you have somebody playing really close and neutral, and you know when somebody is looking for the anti-air, when they're just sitting right here on the ground, not moving, hand ready on the forward P, hand ready to hit 6P, you can always do stuff like this. You can jump once, so you're a little bit farther away from it. Or if they're trying to grab you out of the air, you can jump. It affects his jump arc a little bit, especially off of like air dash. Because this is what a regular air dash is looking like. And if you do air dash, jump D, it gives you a little more space. So it's a pretty good approach tool if you want to mix people up. Always be different in how you approach because, you know, it starts to get obvious and even you start to get air grabbed. Very simply. Whenever you get air grabbed in this game, the way I think about it is that you're playing very predictably. Unless it's like an RC air grab because you can't do shit about that. Okay. Heavy slash. This is a frame trap. So if you do something like this, there's a gap in frame traps, and if you want like a really long combo, or a really long block string, sorry, there's frame traps. Heavy slash is a good frame trap. Very good frame trap too. So is down heavy slash. But down heavy slash is mostly used, or 2HS, sorry. It is mostly used in his combos. So something like a low like this. You know, you get like a little damage, then you do down, get that, do that. You know, so that's what it's used for. But it's also a pretty good tool if you know they're gonna mash. Alright. But yes, forward heavy slash is a very good move. If you're not using it as an Anji player, you need to start using it now. Because it's the way that you safely transition to Fujin. And look at this corner push. I'm going to show you a regular combo or like a regular block string if the opponent doesn't want to... if the opponent gives you too much respect, this is a block string that you can do to get some more corner carry. So you could do a light and then Fujin to whatever. Obviously this isn't real because lights into Fujin isn't real. You can jab out of it, but here's what happens when you get heavy slash, right? That's significantly more corner carry. You literally see it. Significantly more corner carry. And if you space it right, Fujin's safe at this range, basically. Fujin is safe from being able to get DP'd at like around that range. So if you play around with the normal, it's really good. This is easily how you take your Anji from being just alright to hell of annoying. Anji 6P isn't a bad normal. It's actually pretty good at stopping people that jump at you. But in matchups where you need upper body invincibility to contest dumb special moves, it doesn't help. Like, good luck with the Giovanna or May matchup. I'm not really going to explain what every special move does because the game gives you a good understanding of what they do. I'm just going to tell you the applications and how you can use them and give you a little bit of sets. Butterfly isn't very good in this game, but you want to use it off of a sweep. You can get something like that. Mixes with Butterfly that I've used are either grab or locate into forward heavy slash because that is actually a combo tool, or actually combos and can't really be mashed on once you have Butterfly out. So I'll show you right now. Also, Ko gives you a hard knockdown, which is very rare in this game, and it's very good considering that you're playing Anji, and that's what you want. You want people to be scared so that you can run up and do something. I've heard a lot of people have gotten a lot of success with doing Ko and then butterflying after, and you'll see that right here. It's a little iffy, but people get by using it. What else about Ko? The starter Ko also has guard point frames, meaning that up until he's leaping in the air, he can parry attacks with it. I really wouldn't recommend doing this though, because you want your anti-air button to be really fast. You know, you want to stop people from jumping in, and you can also tag it on the end of a 5P. So say somebody is jumping, do something like that. You can do a little Ko 5P, and you can usually dash up and get some more. So that's good. Or 6P, sorry. Anji also has a dance. I don't know what the move is actually called because, bro, I'm not looking it up. But Anji's dance, which is done by doing quarter circle forward K, is a good neutral tool when you're playing against characters that don't care about throwing out buttons. For example, Anji's dance can oftentimes win him the neutral in Mei matchup if the Mei is dumb. If the Mei is just using dolphins from full screen, which a lot of Meis do, the dance is real enough to a point that if it hits, you can confirm close slash into a full combo. It's very easy to do that. However, the second that the opponent that you're playing against decides to not just do special moves out in the open or with, you know, very obvious normals or try and poke with them, that move just doesn't work anymore. Like, even with some of the characters that have slower normals that you can actually see and respond to it, which, by the way, the start of it is kind of horrendous. So if you want to respond to fast moves like Soul's 6S, it won't work. Not in the Gunflame block string at least. But in the few matchups where like the move is slow enough to a point you can actually get in, most of the times the range will be a little bit off so that you can't actually get a punish. Like in the Ram matchup, it ain't working. In the Goriyuki, nah. Not unless he purposely dashes towards you, but then he deserves to get hit. So it has good and bads, but I'll get into why it's so good when I start explaining strategies with it. And lastly, and possibly least, we have Fujin. Fujin has 4 extensions done by inputting punch, kick, slash, or heavy slash after the first Fujin is already dialed out. Let's talk about Fujin. Fujin is unsafe. The only safe version of Fujin is the triangle follow-up. You can delay the triangle follow-up to Fujin to catch people that are jumping like so. The thing is though, the second that you start delaying Fujin, the S follow-up, people don't have to respect you. They can DP during it, most of the cast. Maybe not Kai, because Kai's DP is hella diagonal or vertical. But Leo gets it pretty free. Soul gets it pretty free. And all in all, Fujin is unsafe. The second that you dial in the input, Fujin's unsafe. Second that Fujin hits without you even doing a follow-up, it is an unsafe move. The P follow-up is plus, but it hits at such an angle that it still gets beaten by DP. And it's like, it's plus 11. The most you're getting is like a 5k or like a 2k, in which case, the only way that's even working is really in the corner, because the pushback by it isn't enough for where it even matters. Once the character has super, they can RC Fujin, and, you know, they can't RC the S follow-up, unfortunately. Well, I guess fortunately for Anji, but they can use meter more creatively. The K follow-up is pretty good on paper, right? I'll show you. It's the jump. The jump is pretty good on paper. Once you do jump, it's pretty normal, or a lot of Anjis will grab afterwards, but that loses to tech grab, that loses to buttons, to mashing buttons, which most grabs in this game don't lose to buttons. If you run up and grab any character, you cannot mash buttons in them, you just have to jump or backdash. But because the leap is kind of slow, you're able to jab against him, you're able to grab him out of his leap, you're able to tech the leap, or you can just jump. Like, there's nothing really scary about this. Leap is not all that bad though, because once again, if you have meter, you can do this into leap, which is a little bit of a mix, similar to Soul's Bandit Bringer. But and lastly, we have his overhead, his H follow-up. This move is just bad. This move only works if you have conditioned somebody to be scared of Fujin in the first place. It is completely reactable, like that. Once you block it, Anji's also unsafe, so you're not really pressed to even press buttons in the first place. And if you block high, the only other alternative to you taking damage is the S follow-up, which does nothing. Look how much damage does the Kai. The amount of conditioning in neutral you have to win to even get him to care about that damage, for your turn to end there too, it's not worth it. So, Anji's Fujin is bad. So, what's your strategy with Anji? Anji lives and dies by Fujin. His neutral in this game with his buttons aren't good enough to support him, and even when he doesn't use Fujin, he basically has nothing else. but that's only if you look at Fujin linearly. Anji is a bad character because you look at what other characters can do in this game and you're like, alright, when can I get some of that? But there's still hope because I believe that any character could win in this game. It's still week 2 also, so a lot of people are going to get caught by your mixes naturally, but I think Anji will fall over time. So now I'm going to teach you how to level up your Anji to go past that to this, because, you know, that's what I think everybody should want. So teach you a little bit of setup. Anji can Fujin off of a lot of things, and he can't cancel Fujin on whiff, but he can cancel it on block and on hit, especially on OTG. And this is important because it's a second mind game. I'll show you. I have Kai set up to when he gets swept. When he gets swept, he's gonna wake up grab. So say you're playing as Anji and you get swept, you're gonna Fujin jump in, that beats wake up grab. And then they're aware so you can loot Fujin again. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna do the same thing. You can grab yourself. And he has to tech there. Maybe he can jump, but then RC, run up, grab him. So there's a little thing like that that has nuances to Anji's gameplay. Here's the second tip. Anji's Fujin does not really cancel into any button from long range conveniently. For example, there's a gap in about everything he does. The only way you can get a natural combo into Fujin that's like, you know, actually blocks, that's actually like a real true block string is close slash into close slash. Is close slash into heavy slash. That gives you a real Fujin. Or I think close slash into Fujin 2, does it? Yeah, close slash into Fujin. So naturally you're gonna need to start off with close slash to really get anything going with Fujin. And you're gonna think at first that's really bad, Anji sucks from it, and it kinda does, but at the same time, it's also good. Because at this range, because Fujin won't combo naturally, you can start playing mind games again and say, hey, now I can hold Fujin. Now, look at the hit off regular. Most I'm gonna get from this is this, and then full screen again. I have to play neutral, and Anji's neutral is not good. So if you hold it, you can get a bigger pickup. You see. So don't be afraid to hold Fujin. And once you start holding Fujin, you see the twirl animation. That looks very similar, damn near identical, to quarter circle forward K. So this is quarter circle forward K. This is quarter circle forward HS Fujin. So twirl and Fujin, the starts of them look very similar. So now we can start piecing together a puzzle. And this is where I think the next level game will come with Anji, because this is how you play mind games with the opponent. You don't really want Fujin to hit at a certain level, because in the corner right here, if I'm playing against any character with a DP or fast reversal buttons, after I do, maybe the P follow-up will keep him in the corner for a little bit. But if they just block, once I get back to the ground, it's Mash City, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to want to do is keep finding ways to mix him up without actually committing to Fujin until I need to, until I cannot, you know, mix any longer. Let me show you an example of that. And look at the difference compared to, you see, they look very similar. So this is how you mix people up with Anji at a, I want to say high level, because I don't see a lot of Anjis doing this right now. But, you know, probably going to be normal later. That's what you're looking to do. Now, the thing is, obviously, you can grab him out of this. I'm pretty sure you can grab him out of this too. But, like I said, every game has their own mind games. Let me see if you can, actually. I'm just trying to make him match grab. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you can grab him out of that, and then becomes the game plan of, well, how do I make this, you know, safer? But the sheer fact that they have to watch out for two moves that look the same, this is when Fujin actually begins to work, because now the mental stack on a player begins to be more. It stops becoming, alright, I just need to, you know, delay tech grab if he jumps, delay buttons if he does overhead Fujin or just block it, and then just hold for triangle. It stops becoming that, and it becomes, now I need to do all of that for regular Fujin, and he could just mix it up with a fake Fujin. He could also grab. the mental stack becomes bigger, and that's where Anji, in my opinion, begins to shine just a little bit, although it's still underwhelming. Also, in neutral, don't use Heavy Slash. It's a good counter hit confirm, but do not use it. It is not worth it. At most ranges, if you do Heavy Slash, it'll whiff with your farthest poke. So if you poke this, it'll whiff like that. And if it doesn't whiff at all times, you won't be able to get Fujin after it naturally. That is like the best range you get Fujin, and at that point, you're not scared of mix. And I don't know, people say that, well, you just gotta Fujin better so that you don't get mixed, but bro, what are you scared of at this range? I really want to know. Like, what Anji mix are you scared of at this range? What? Because it looks to me like if you space Fujin correctly, what? You just block low. And even if you don't block low, and you somehow, or you just block high, sorry. And even if you don't block high, and you know, you get hit by this, oh what, you're back in neutral? And you get a free backdash? No way. So, yeah, Anji has an inconsistency problem in this game. And at many of the ranges in which Fujin actually links, he doesn't get any Oki off of it. Anji Super, sorry. His parry super is frame 1 invincible, I believe. I tested it out, and even on the sweeps, it's like this. If he wakes up super, and I try and meaty, I'll get hit with it. It seems to be frame 1, or frame fast enough so that it catches a lot of wake up buttons. I'll try and use a light so I can test that too. Yeah, it looks pretty real. Yeah, but you can be grabbed out of it. But it looks to be pretty real. So his parry super is pretty good, but then again, in certain matchups, it's not very good because if it hits a projectile, it hits for less damage, and we're talking like a lot less damage, so that's unfortunate. And yeah. Alright, let's wrap this up. Anji, in my opinion, is like bottom 3, bottom 4 characters in this game because with everything that he does, he feels toned down. There are obvious, like, I'm not even really gonna sit here and talk to you about characters and tier lists because I don't care, right? In the end of the day, and other people can say, oh, he's not that bad, but the fact that you have to preface anything is not that bad, it's probably because you don't play him or you don't enjoy it, because you would just say if a character's good or if a character's bad. You know, there's no question when you have to wonder if Soul, Mei, or Ram are good in this game because, like, come on now, you see what they're doing. But Anji is somehow worse than even the mid-tier characters in this game, or the characters that you actually have to try with. Anji's bad. He is not very good in this game. I don't know what other way I can say that. I don't know how other way I can say that. The very few concepts that Anji has also doesn't really fit properly for this game because people die so fast that, you know, what's really the point? I don't think Anji's an awful character if you can get people to be scared of, like, Fujin, but the only way you're scared of Fujin is if you have lost to, like, 20 Anjis in a row, and that just doesn't happen. Because if you're playing any character above Anji's tier, which is, like, Anji, Faust, I don't know anybody else because I've just been focusing on my character, then you'll probably win this matchup not hardly even caring about what he does. Because, once again, his neutral isn't very good to enforce his already mediocre tools. What else? I'm not going to ask for buffs because, to be honest, I really don't care. I'm going to just play a different character. You see, I'm not going to cry about Anji for, like, you know, the entire, you know, history. Because it's like, bro, what's the point? I'm just going to play a different character. Don't get me wrong. I do think there are good things about Anji. And I do feel like, to a level, maybe you can squeeze, like, a lot out of him more than what other people are doing. But you gotta remember that Anji is fighting to be a B-tier character. Like, if Anji works, he is still a B-tier character. And there are some matchups he straight loses. He cannot Fujin against Leo. He just cannot. Like this, he cannot Fujin against Leo. That's just the thing. And you can say, well, he can, you know, he can slash his, so that, you know, he can use his S follow-up to Fujin so that it becomes a safe block string. Bro, you're telling me a mix-up tool is becoming a safe block string? That is whack. Like, I don't... What character mixes up and then tries to be safe at the end of the mix-up? Everything that he does can be OS. You can chicken block about everything he does. Maybe the only option chicken block doesn't beat is like delay S, but guess what? You take a delay S and what do you get? 5% damage to your entire health. Like the amount of games you can play with Anji, you can play him slow tip, you can play him a lot of ways, but in the end of the day, he's just not that good. And there's not much you can do with him to make him good. You can definitely make him better than other characters and you can win, but he's not good. Other than that, yeah, pick a different character. Anyway, with that being said, I hope this Anji guide helped you in some way. If it did, go ahead and hit that like. I'm just playing. Don't do none of that shit. That's that cringy YouTube shit. Anyway, I'm out of here.